Hi, my name is Brett Zucker, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer for Bridgeline Digital. I want to thank you for your time as I walk you through some of the highlights of our new release of iAPPS, the powerful web engagement management platform that combines content management, e-commerce, email marketing, and online optimization with our Analyzer product. Now, all four work in conjunction because of what is underlying in what we call the iAPPS framework. So this is a common foundation across all four of our products. And what this does is it allows them all to share information to make marketers smarter about the decisions and the actions they take to drive conversion. And what I mean by that is you may have content that's storing information inside the libraries. Well, our email product is going to be able to use or reuse those assets to send email campaigns with the same message, voice, imagery. Well, who's going to get those emails? Well, Marketeer also knows about the transaction history from commerce and what users were associated with which transaction. So maybe someone who bought product A, we want to sell product B. Well, now we have the ability through a single user interface to share information across all four typically disparate products. And we do that all on top of our Microsoft technology stack. And there's really two components that I want to highlight. Number one is the user interface. We separate business logic from presentation. We have a mantra at Bridgeline, which is if you can present it in a browser, you can manage it with iAPPS. We don't want information architects and designers to be hampered or limited by the technology. And so we allow the architects to create whatever user experience is right for your audience. And the second piece is ISIS. So this is an enterprise search product that is part of and embedded within iAPPS. No additional licensing cost, but this is a true enterprise search server that powers things like faceted dynamic search results out of the box with commerce. Incredible search results and promotion of content using synonyms, best bets, weighting, all of these things to drive relevant search results within Content Manager, searching through documents. This is an enterprise class search product that comes with iAPPS automatically. Now, all of this is used by marketers, and our goal when we're designing our software is around use cases for marketers to be more successful with driving conversion. And that could be transactions, that could be registrations for webinar, customer service, a reduction in calls, whatever it may be. The use cases around the integration of our products are to make marketers more successful with conversion. Now, a unique value proposition with our platform is that we come in both software as a service, so that true multi-tenant environment up in the cloud, as well as the traditional perpetual model. And obviously there's pros and cons to each one of these. On the SaaS side, low cost of entry, you pay your monthly fee, you don't worry about backups or bandwidth or any of these things. You're always on the latest versions, and all of that happens up in the cloud without you having to worry about anything. Marketing doesn't need IT involvement on this side. Now on the perpetual side, this is the traditional model of paying that one-time license, but you can host it wherever you want. And now most of our customers who buy perpetual still host with us in our managed service environment, but you own the software. You can host it wherever you want. And it's that more traditional license model that's more capital expense versus SaaS is more operational expense. Now, some of the new things that I want to highlight today in this demo, what's new in our version 5? Well, we've re-architected the user interface, and we heard a lot from our customers. We looked a lot out on the web on some of the best practices with some of the most ubiquitous technologies that people love to use. Dropbox and Gmail were two that came to mind and two that we leveraged. And so you'll see from a user interface perspective, if you have iAPPS, that all of these things have shifted, but in a very positive, familiar way. And we've also upgraded the way we target audience segments and persuasive content. And the reason we did this was to make it easier for marketers to manage this themselves. You're not scoring pages, images, everything across 92 dimensions that becomes completely unwieldy. And now we offer a proper balance between being able to target the right audience with the right message at the right time, with the manageability on your side when we know most marketers don't have the time or capability to do this as a full-time job. Now, also you'll see part of that targeted content could be to mobile-friendly devices, as well as being able to access iAPPS on your tablet. Right? So you're on the go, you're on a train, working on your tablet, you now have the ability to manage your content there. We've also added 2 new enterprise agreement partners, one in Clay Tablet for offline language translation services. So we can now integrate with all of the top providers of language translation. However, it's all done within the user experience of iAPPS. So you don't have to leave iAPPS to manage the workflow of language translations with these third-party providers. We also have integration with a new enterprise partner in Brightcove. So for video CDN, we've always had Akamai for web acceleration and CDN capabilities. Now Brightcove has its own control within the iAPPS site editor for integration out of the box. And also we've added a new feature. We kind of went back in time and brought back some of the functionality we historically have had, but we did it much better. Now we have the ability to allow marketers to edit templates without breaking that brand and design consistency. And so this is a big focus for us since usability, user experience is paramount. We want to be that pixel perfect company. We want to make sure that that marketers and content contributors don't break that design or that brand. So let's go ahead and take a look at the content here. And you'll notice still single sign-on, cross-browser, cross-OS. I'm in Chrome on a Mac. And let's start with Content Manager. And the first thing you'll notice is we have the new user interface. Right? Large buttons that are touch-friendly. We have menu items that are grouped and organized. The nomenclature is much better. We went to this mega menu concept so that we can move between anywhere in one application of iAPPS to anywhere in another application. And so that seamless user experience across all 4 of our products helps marketers be more successful, take action quicker and easier. Now, we've also changed the way we customize the dashboard, so you have the ability to change the containers. The containers themselves were updated based on customer feedback and what is most important. And you'll see we've got everything from blogs and forums and polls to publishing activity, translation activity for those that are multilingual using Clay Tablet. So all of these are customizable. We can add new containers, and obviously you can personalize this space for yourself. Now, on the site editing side of things, we still have all of our site editor integrated inline in context capabilities. So I can, of course, go to any page and manage the content right here, right in line. I can see where word wrap happens, all of those kinds of things, right? All of the integrations based on styles, all of that still remains. What we've done is we've added this new functionality called page segments. And this is where we can really drive targeted persuasive content very simply based on marketers doing this themselves without onerous efforts. And let me show you an example. So we have Bridgeline Lighting as our demo site, our fictitious lighting company. And you'll see this is a standard product. You know, we have all of the faceted drill down on our catalogs, and we can drill into any of the product detail pages, and we have all of our comments and ratings and as far as commerce and social sharing, and we have all of the content pages and geographic integration with Google Maps and videos and all these different things, right? Well, let me start off by showing you, let me reset my cookies here, and I'm starting at the home page, right? Maybe I did a Google search. It's showing me that it doesn't know anything about me right now. I've got the default audience segment page coming up, the user segment. I'm brand new to this site. Well, maybe I did a search for indoor lighting, right? Maybe that is something that I'm interested in. Well, what's going to happen is Google's taking me to this indoor lighting page. What now happens is it's bucketed me into what we call the indoor cold segment. It's something I created as a marketer very simply by saying whatever search term you used, I'm going to look for, and I'm going to define you as an audience segment. So I've indicated, just simply in this case, by my Google search term, that I'm interested in indoor lighting. If I go back to the home page, you'll see that all of the products that I'm being shown are targeted towards indoor lighting, right? It knows a little bit something about me. If I reset my cookies, you'll see that I have the ability to show, or I'm actually being shown just the content here that is relevant to the default audience segment. So we've now targeted you based on a simple search of Google search terms or other search index terms, right? Very powerful, but very easy to manage, right? We also have the ability to target content based on device. So if I move my screen to mimic a mobile device, you'll see I have now a responsive design, and we fully support responsive design. That's where we hang our mobile strategy on. And I can target and change content based on this mobile design, right? So there's two dimensions that marketers can use very simply in iAPPS to target content. And that's all based on audience segmentation. So let me go back and let's go back to the homepage for a second. Let's use this since we're using that as an example. And I'm going to go back to this manage page segments. So here you'll see that we can target and say, you know what? Let's look at an iPhone, for instance. What is it going to look like, first of all, on an iPhone? Well, I can actually preview through device emulation, and using the responsive design, I can actually see what this is going to look like, right in line. I don't have to publish. I don't have to go to it on a separate device or anything, go to a third-party emulator, do it right here. But I can also target based on device and audience segment. So I've defined my audience segments. I can now choose maybe indoor lighting on a smartphone, right? This audience segment on a particular device. And I can go in and I can edit. And it's telling me I'm editing the content for this specific device and audience segment. And now I use the simple site editor where I can change the content. And maybe I want to change these products if you're looking at it on a smartphone with this audience segment. And now, once I change that, I can go ahead and preview what is this going to look like, right? For this particular audience segment on this particular device. All of this is through a smart, easy to use, manageable interface for marketers to do right in line. And that's key, right? We don't require anything as far as marketers to go and get IT involvement or developers to be involved as well. Some of the new functionality also, let me show you on the video side, we've got Clay tablet integration. So if I have a video control here, you'll see when I insert my video, it's pulling up my Clay tablet library, my playlists, all of these things, all of my tags, all right through the interface of iAPPS. So I don't have to leave and go anywhere to do this, right? So this integration and control comes out of the box as standard with iAPPS. Now, we also have, I talked about some of the multilingual capabilities with Clay Tablet. You know, we've always supported multi-site, multilingual management. And if I go to the French site variant in this case, for example, what's new is when you see and look at the master site updates, I can understand, in this case, what has changed as far as the English site in this example. And maybe, you know, I can go in and change how we interact with this content. I can then import it. I can view what it looks like. Yeah, this is what I want, right? If I go ahead and import this particular page, I can pull this into maybe one of the navigational categories inside my French site. And this is what's new here, right? I could always import this import this page and translate this. But what's new is now import and submit for translation. And what happens here is I have the ability with Clay Tablet hooked into whoever my external language translation provider is, Lionbridge, translations.com, SDL, whoever it may be. I can now go in and add this to a particular existing translation batch or create a new one on the fly. What do I want to translate? I have my defaults based on the site I'm in this case, the French, my translation, and now I can go and submit that into workflow as far as language translation is concerned. It'll come back to me. I can see all of my activity, right? If I go into my translation activity, I'll be able to see what I've sent for translation, what's ready. All of this workflow is built in out of the box within the iAPPS administrative interface. And that's all standard functionality. Now, the last piece that I wanted to show you here today was a little bit about template building. So here we have the capability to, as I mentioned, modify templates without breaking the brand and design consistency. So you'll see areas that are locked down like global navigation. We can lock down what you can drag and drop into these areas. So maybe you don't want to have people allowed to drop a video container into the sidebar. How these render and the styles of these can be controlled through simple properties menus. Getting rid of things is as simple as dragging and dropping into the recycle bin, right? So it's easy. We have drag and drop controls. All of these controls, we have standard ones, can be customized for your implementation. But the idea is that we allow you the flexibility of changing templates without the ability to break that brand and design consistency. So these are all new features and functions that are part of our iAPPS 5.0 release. And I want to thank you for your time today in making this, in giving you some insight into what's new. Thank you.